Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of CyberCraft. In the last episode, we built up this lovely, beautiful spire, which is going to be my lighthouse, which is going to house the majority of my shops. In today's episode, we are going to finish off this lighthouse. We're going to build the roof, and we are going to put an extension onto it to give it a bit more depth, to make it look like it's more anchored to the ground. But in order to do that, we need to go over to the creative world, which I built the original spire in, to go and show you what I decided to build up the design with. So let's go do that. Okay, so off camera, I have been working on the development of the lighthouse that's on the main server. And I have come up with this design, which I'm pretty happy with. I was in a voice call with Sam, and he gave me some pointers, and he was giving me some like yes and no, because I was really struggling with this. This lighthouse design is taking a bit of inspiration from Gemini Tay's lighthouse from season 10 of Hermitcraft, where she did the center spiral. The thing that I did with mine is I swapped the calcite and the diorite around, because I didn't want a large section of calcite to diorite. I wanted it to look a little bit more grainy with the white highlights. So what I've ended up doing is I've ended up coming up with this design using this part here to like make it look like the lighthouse is a bit more grounded rather than top heavy. So the interior isn't done, it has a bit of lighting, but it shows what I'm trying to do. Obviously I've not put the ladder in, but these floors are the exact same as what they are on the server. But it pretty much means that this doorway here no longer exists, and we've moved it over to one side, making sure to utilize a lot of the trapdoors and like extra details with the roof itself. Also adding like shelves and stairs around the entire edge of the lighthouse to give it a bit more depth. This is also taken off of gems, like using two different tones of wood in anvils and trapdoors here. However, the main change that I made to this lighthouse, other than the bottom, was the roof itself. I didn't like it how the trapdoors made it look really thin on the outside. So I've gone quite custom with this, and I really like it. Massive inspiration to Gem though with getting the main center spiral, because I was really struggling with trying to utilize the space. Okay, so as you can see, is from that we now know what the design of this thing is going to look like. But to begin with, I want to start getting a load of these little details in, so around the windows, and prepping for the extension. So let's go and get the blocks to build it. Okay, so what we want is we are going to want a lot of spruce stairs and bookshelves, which I'm pretty sure bookshelves are quite expensive. If I can find where I place my crafting bench. I don't have one here, so we're going to go and craft one up quickly. Okay, so this is the first time that I'm making shelves, so I just want to make sure that I get this correct. Shelves, we want spruce, stripped logs. Okay, we're going to want a few, so we're going to build up quite a bit and go and get ourselves a good few stripped logs. Okay, now that we have our logs, we're going to go and craft up a load of these shelves, and we're also going to want stairs, so let's go craft up a few of these, because the design requires stairs and shelves. But basically each of the design is one of these and one of these, which is pretty easy, especially as we can place down a few of them pretty quickly. It's not too bad. So we can do that, and that is now the design done. So that's how it's going to look. These we do plant borders, So we'll just go up to the next window and rinse and repeat. Okay, so now that we have all of the window ledges in, now we are going to do the extension onto this bottom layer of the lighthouse. So we're going to go and grab our diorite, and we're going to go and repeat this pattern to go and give ourselves a lovely little lighthouse design. Okay, and just like that, we now have the outside template of what this bottom layer is going to look like. So we're going to go and build it up by 3 all the way around in one block for now. And we'll do quite a lot of the texturing later. Okay, so now that we have this structure, now what we're going to do is we're just going to go around with all of our scaffolding. We're going to want a bit. And all we are going to do is very, very simply just go around the entire edge, 1 block out. 2 blocks, I should say. At 4 blocks high, and we're just going to build around the roof, simply so I have something to stand on. Okay, so now that we have this little platform to work on up at this height, we now need a bunch of different blocks. Most of it is going to require deep slate. Okay, so with that stone cutter, we are going to need some deep slate because we are using the polished deep slate recipe. So we're going to need a lot of polished deep slate slabs. We are going to need a few polished deep slate stairs. We're also going to need some stone bricks, and we're going to need some stone brick slabs. So we're going to turn those into that. We can also now dump off all of our diorite because we're not going to need that for now. And we're going to align our inventory with an assortment of blocks ranging from different things. Now, to begin with, we're going to just go and place a diorite or a polished deep slate slab, or in this case stair, in these few locations. And then we're just going to go around the entire outside like so. We are going to place an additional one there. We will change these out a little bit later for a bit more texturing. But for now, I do just want to get the main structure itself built. We're then going to follow that up with a block's worth of stuff. So we're going to go back into here, and we're going to just split this up into a polished set and a brick set, just to make our lives a bit easier when it comes to block placements. So now what we want to do is we now want to put in this row of blocks all the way around the outside edge. Then we're going to go and follow that up with a row of slabs, and we're going to ensure that each of these go up to this top point here, because this is our roof layer. Okay, so now with the roof, we are now going to go 2 slabs over from here and here, and we're going to replace this line here with stairs. So we're just going to go and place in a bunch of stairs here, and this is going to be our center line. This is the center of the entire build, so we want this to be nice, high and proud, so everyone is able to see. Okay, then we're going to go slab, block, slab, and a stair to give us this little peak design, which I really, really like. So we now pretty much have the entirety of the build constructed. For this lower half, we are just going to go and make a small change to where these blocks here are 2 upside down stairs, to add a bit of detail when it comes to the depth of all of the edging. Just like that, so that looks a lot better. As you can also tell is that I am trying to copy this to offer the creative world onto this, as that's the design I've mocked up. So please bear with, as I know this is quite hard to do when you're looking at reference images from your creative world to import, because we don't have any access like Lightmatica. So please be advised of that. So I'm sorry if it's a bit more janky than I'm usually used to. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are now going to go and change loads of these blocks over to tiles. That was a mistake on my part. So what this is going to do is this is just going to add some contrast to the build and really like darken up portions of this entire roof, just to make it look a little bit more different and unique. So we're going to go and implement these into this design. It's so hard when you have to enlarge images, but we're getting there. If you've ever tried to import an image from a different world, you'll know that it's quite hard to do when you don't have stuff like Lightmatica. So I know that it looks pretty weird doing it like this, but you have to do some things a lot differently on Bedrock Edition whenever you try and import something, as you are trying to import it in the best possible way without it looking weird. And as this is going to be my shop for the season, I want it to be really perfect, so every single member of the CyberCraft server can actually come here and enjoy the shop. Every single time they just come and shop, it just makes the environment a lot neater and a lot nicer when you have a shop that you're very, very happy with, for them to just come and enjoy, rather than something that you've rushed to put together, rather than it's taking a minute to just stop and think about what you are building. This is the type of Minecraft builds that I prefer to do. And just like that, we now have the roof pretty much complete, I think. If there's any like spots that are like out of place, I will change them at a later date. But I'm very happy with that. We're gonna grab a sword because there is a creeper on the loose over here, which I knew it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to replace these two here with some smooth, well, polished basalt stairs, because there's something that I did in the creative world which I really, really like doing, and it's to add a bit more detail to the wall, but that's going to require a different block. So we're going to get rid of our black stone for now, and we're going to go and grab our oak. So we have loads of oak here, and it's because we want to make a few trapdoors, which we are going to place on each one of these stair blocks. This is the same design that you just saw in the creative world, but there's a reason why I'm doing oak instead of like another like darker block, and it's because at the top of the lighthouse it is generally quite dark anyway, and I don't like builds being too dark when I can help it. So that's the main idea of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and collect my glass panes, because I want to get the windows for the most part in place. So we have a massive 3x2 window at the back, which gives us a total of 6 glass panes, followed by a load of individual ones which just sit oddly about in the structure. We then have this massive opening to go for, so our roof is halfway on this, so we're going to take our pick and we're going to mine out these few blocks right here. We just accidentally broke a piece of calcite, no biggie though. And we missed a piece up here from accidentally breaking that open. So now we have access to this massive room. We will also put in a window in this. Nope, it's not there. I'm missing a window location here, but I can't remember where I put it. But this is basically going to be the new entranceway, which is going to be a little bit more grander than this, but it looks pretty good for now. Okay, so what we're going to do for the roof of this room is we are going to continue to use our spruce wood to turn into loads of slabs. We are basically just going to slab the roof 4 blocks higher than what it is right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here. This is our roof height, which is a pretty nice roof height to have, as it also gives us a solid block to build everything on, so we can expand everything that we need for this room off of the room itself. And we're going to go up to this block here, which is where we're going to have the divide. So what we're going to do is we are going to use a stone cutter to turn just one of these into two of these into 2 of these diorite stairs, because we are about to create the little archway which is going to merge the 2 rooms together. And that looks swimming. That looks really, really good. It allows for a nice seamless blend into these 2 rooms. Something I am also going to do is I'm going to add 2 pieces of diorite into this corner of the room, 1 more down here, and we did add a window into here, which is pretty cool, just so that we can get a little bit more natural light coming into this part of the build. And this section is pretty much done, apart from a little bit more detailing, but I'm really happy with the size of this. And now, instead of me waffling to you about everything else that I'm going to do, I'm just going to give you a little montage of me finishing off this build, including the light itself. So let's go. And just like that, we now have a completed structure for our Lighthouse shop. Honestly, that took a long time, but I'm really happy with the design, and massive inspiration from Gemini Taste Season 10 Lighthouse. The entire center spiral and how she did the design was really good. The only changes that I have made is to the roof as well as to the inside of it itself. But now we just have, at this current time, a empty hollow building. We need some more details in here, like obviously we have the fireworks shops and that. We have a random crafting bench which we do not need in here, and we also have an extra floor to work with. So I think we're going to go and add a bit more detail, a bit more freehand. Obviously this e-chest is now going to have to move, but I don't have my silk touch pickaxe with me, so we'll have to collect that later and we'll move that about. But for now, what I want to do is I want to go and grab some oak, and I used up all of the logs, I think, annoyingly, and that sucks. Well, anyway, we're going to use a lot of the spruce and the bookcases, which are here, to add a little bit more detail into this place. So we're going to place, I'm not sure if this roof looks too flat. I could always put some stairs in the corners, but what we're going to do anyway is we're going to go and build ourselves a mini table over here. We need some slabs. We're only going to need a few. We're going to add a table here. We're not going to put it in the center. I was planning on putting the tables dead center, but that feels like it will get in the way because we can put extra stuff there. We will put a bookcase, you know, probably here. I mean, that looks quite nice, so I'm just going to do that for now. This can always change just to add a bit of detail within the walls. Upper layer, we will do another like table as such in the corners. Just like that. We'll grab some pots and that to furnish this room properly. You know what? Let's go back to the industrial district, because I need to grab iron to restock anyway. And what we'll do is we'll go and grab a few resources here to go and furnish the inside a little bit more, make it a little bit better for whoever comes to the shop. So let's go do that real quick. Okay, so now that we have the pots that we want, we can now come in here and we can place down a few potted decorations on each of the floors to add a bit more life. We can also get rid of this e-chest and we can move it out of the way so that people can still have access. I think what we'll do is, I don't have any of that, so we'll just set that there. I've gone and got some shelves to make a chair, which I think, no, that'll look horrible. Gone and got some shelves just for some extra detail, but I like the look of that wall. And like maybe we'll put a shelf up there to like break it up a bit. So we'll just fill it up with something and then it'll look half decent at least. You know what, we'll put a cactus up here. Yeah, that, it gives it a little bit more so it doesn't feel empty. And I think what we'll also do is we'll place another few of these here and here. And we'll place a cactus up here because they look quite cool. Make it feel a bit more whole. We can also replenish the iron, which we also took earlier to build the lighthouse. So stock is fully stocked again. And now, just like that, the lighthouse is done. If we get up on our little plinth here and just have something to eat and just look at it. This looks amazing. The only thing that it does need though is a little few flowers on the outside in these little green borders. So what we'll do is we'll use up the remaining flowers, which isn't a lot. Annoyingly, I didn't bring too many, but we'll just add a few here to make this place a little bit more cozy. And we'll bring some more over at a later date. But that is the final finishing touches for now on the lighthouse. I'm really happy with it. It looks absolutely amazing now that the entire top of it is done. And it just fits in here so well. Looking back, potentially I could have moved it a little bit more this way and probably a little bit more up this way to give a bit more around the edge. But to be honest, I'm happy to terraform this. We're going to change this to grass anyway, so that will be really cool. But when I was designing this in the creative world, which you saw earlier in the video, I wasn't really sure on how to connect these two parts together. But I think I've managed to make it look like this part is also anchoring this part down, which is one of the main goals of this build. To make it not seem like a straight pillar, but a attached part which anchors this down in some form. But now that we've built the shops and the lighthouse is fully completed, it's now time to go over to the industrial district to go and build the first double-sided part of the module for the bamboo farm. So let's go. And now arriving at the industrial district. I have a little bit of a confession to make. Over the start of January, I was a bit bored and I wanted to do a little bit of organization of the industrial district. I've started to create up the storage room. This is how long each of the modules are going to be, so it's going to be 3 units long and then a doorway. But the reason being is because I just needed some better organization of stuff. As everything from the mob farm, yeah, it's fine putting it up there, but it just wasn't convenient to continuously have it just stored up there, and then every single time that I wanted gunpowder to have to run up there to come back down. So I ended up just mocking this up just to get an idea of how it was. I did end up having the items go this way first, but then decided to change it at the last minute. And now we are on a brand new day and we need to get rid of this tree because we are about to build up the first little module section here for the bamboo farm, as well as hook it up because, to be honest, I'm a little bit done with not having any bamboo supplies. Although I'm not going to have any bamboo supplies because we need to go and drain the hopper system with all of the cactus in it and put it into the storage room, simply because I made a little bit of an oversight when building and I put all of the actual stuff that I wanted smelted in first rather than the fuel, so the fuel has a backlog and it burns too quickly. But anyway, we're just going to go and get rid of this and possibly that tree. I think we'll be fine for the most part, so let's get this gone. Okay, now that that is gone, now we'll just wait for those leaves to decay. In the meantime though, we do need to see at how much resources we have. I feel like with this project, my bottleneck is going to be the piston heads themselves, rather than the other resources like the observers. And my fears are true. It is the cobblestone, which is the bottleneck of this entire production. So what we're going to do is, number one, we're going to go and empty out our inventory just a bit because it is a bit crowded from all the building blocks. And we're going to go and craft up a load of pistons. We're going to use the spruce wood as it's one of the easiest woods that I have. And I have an abundance of it, to be honest. So we're going to use that. I forgot how to make pistons, and we need the iron. Iron is never going to be a bottleneck, not anymore. Especially as... I can't wait for you to see this. Especially as I've been in the industrial district for a while, I'm pretty stacked up on iron, so the iron is not an issue either. Gunpowder, I've put it here because when I'm up here, up in the mob farm, I should say, it doesn't always get down to here, but we are stacked up on gunpowder for a while. And then obviously our sugarcane covers, well, at the minute these two, it would be these three, like the cactus is doing pretty splendid on its own over there. So my bottleneck is the cobblestone, unfortunately, but also that's another massive bottleneck because I need the observers and they require cobblestone as well. So let's go and quickly grab a load of cobblestone to just get us past this little inconvenience. Okay, so we've gone and got all of the cobblestone that we need. Now we grab the resources that we placed down here earlier. We need another 8 pistons. We need the redstone dust, that would be quite helpful. But we need a total of 8 extra pistons. I'm just going to grab 10 and then I know I've got plenty. Definitely next episode, I think I'm going to go and do a massive mining expedition. Ah, here's all my quartz. That's better. I knew I had tons lying about. But I definitely think a episode of just getting a bunch of resources would be very, very beneficial to the projects that I'm doing currently, where I need a load of resources. So I think that's definitely on the cards. Now we are going to go and grab all of our lime stained glass and lime blocks. The lime stained glass is mainly what we're going to be using, and we are also going to put the white trim on, so we're going to just grab a little bit of the white concrete that we have remaining. We're also going to have to turn some of this into panes, but that is okay. And I think we're pretty much ready apart from a little bit of ice. And with that, I think we are pretty much ready to go. So, without further ado, let's give you a little bit of a time lapse. Let's go. just like that, we now have a fully completed small bamboo farm. This isn't the full length as I don't have the resources to do it all the way to the back, but past Littlemellow ended up making this 5x5 rather than 5. Well, as large as that one. Because these are going to be like 5 modules tall, I don't need as big a bamboo farm as I need sugarcane, because sugarcane I honestly need quite a lot more of, simply due to the more people that will be using firework rockets. And just like that, I think we've had our first piece come through. I think. I may have seen things. But with that, we now have started to build up the modules, and I think for now I'm just going to build them up like this. So as I get the resources, we'll just build them down. And with that, we've come to the end of the episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching today's episode. I know that was quite shop heavy, as well as a small farm heavy in the industrial districts. I know we've been working in here quite a lot recently, but it's to get all the infrastructure ready for future plans for the cyberpunk city. I normally don't ask you guys this, but if you really enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. That would help me out a ton, as it would make me be able to reach more people to show the series progression. And I also just want to say a massive thank you for the support on last episode. Last time I checked, it was on 137 views, which is the most amount of views I've ever gotten on one of these episodes, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your consistent support. I'm going to continue working on this server, building up all the infrastructure that I need, and I'm also massively sorry for a lot of off-camera building that I've been doing. It's just, I didn't know how I was going to do it, so I've just been slowly but surely chipping away at little mini projects here and there off-camera, and I'm going to try and do a little bit better when I can to record a bit more. But it's been Littlemellow, and I will see you in the next one.